Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello and happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. How we doing out there? We have a smile on our face. Are we feeling happy? Are we feeling happy at all? Are we feeling anything? Or are we just numb? Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, here we go. Making it through another week. We've made it to Friday here, ladies and gentlemen, on Operation Status Quo. Another successful week. I should leave it right here before I do anything else. That's it. We're done. Another successful week. Before I mess this show up. No, seriously. It's always great to be here. You know I love you guys, and you know I love being here, and that's why I'm here, right? Each and every day. Well, most days. You know, for you, the beautiful people of the world. I am Pete Palmer, your user-friendly host, broadcasting live from the comfy confines of my very own home here in Florida. On the west side, as I always like to say. And you notice I left beautiful out this time. Because I always say, you know, you beautiful people and beautiful this, and then I say beautiful, you know, Florida, right? I mean, it's too many beautifuls. I mean, although there's never enough beauty in the world. We should always try to put forth as much beauty as possible. But at the same time, you know, how many times you want to use the same adjective over and over again? It gets a little annoying, you know, even for myself. I'm like, oh, did I say beautiful again? All right. This is Operation Status Quo. If you haven't been here before, thanks for being here today. This is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo-yo because that's the only way to go. So, and those of you who are my regular viewers, thank you so much for your continued support and being here. I definitely appreciate it. You know, I've been talking recently about noticing, you know, going through my analytics, as it were, and such on YouTube. And like, I really get a kick out of it now, honestly, because yesterday, the video I did, it showed 4 views, right? And then, hey, I got big 4 views. It showed, well, I don't know what the real numbers are, but, you know, it showed 4 views. And then when I looked at it today, it was back down to no views, but it had 3 likes, you know, and which is funny because I see 3 likes if I log in, like, into my YouTube channel and I see it says 3 likes. But if I just go on YouTube and look up my show, not in an account, just look it up randomly, it only shows 1 like, you know? So I don't know what you people see out there. Maybe you guys see like 20 likes. Let me know. I would appreciate that. How many likes are you seeing? How many videos are you seeing? You know, put some comments down there. Let me know you're alive out there. And you know, I'm coming through. Maybe it's not being seen at all by anybody. I have no idea. No, seriously. I know there's people watching because I do get feedback, but I do find it quite interesting as far as whatever's going on with algorithms and such that I just don't understand. I can't for the life of me understand why, especially, again, it's not like, you know, if I had like thousands and thousands of views and they thought I was getting a little too big for my britches, maybe that's one thing, but you're going to take my measly yesterday, 4 views, you're going to take my measly 4 views away. And what was the other episode? It was like 12 at 12 and it went down to none, you know, it's like, anyway, it's just so funny. I don't know what I'm doing wrong exactly. All I know is I have good intention. You know, my heart is true. I love you people out there and I'm doing this, you know, for fun. It's fun for all of us. Like, what do I, you know, again, just to say, you know, we're observing life and just trying to mitigate our circumstances, and the world's heavy and negative, and I would just want to be a smiling face, a place where you can, you know, have a little fun. So hopefully you are having fun out there if you're engaged with me here on Operation Status Quo. Well, today is the 3rd of November in the good year 2023, and today's program, ladies and gentlemen, that's right, it is This Day in History. We haven't done This Day in History in a while. I went back and looked, and I noticed, I think the last time I did This Day in History was sometime in September, like towards the end of September. So I was like, ooh, I said, usually on Fridays, for those who are new here and don't realize, you know, I have a couple different segments I'll do, either This Day in History. Sometimes I do Just the Facts, Man, where we just kind of read through some fun facts and have fun with that. And then I also have the News You Need Not Know, which I've only done one of those, but I'm going to go back and do another. I keep meaning to do them sometimes, all of these things. I figure once a week I can, you know, if on a Friday, pick one of these things and do it. But, you know, sometimes I just have other ideas and I figure, you know, why beat a dead horse? You It's like we'll do it, when the vibe is right to do it. And today the vibe is feeling right to do it. And I figured, you poor people out there have suffered, for over a month without this day in history. If you like this day in history, let me know. Maybe you don't like this day in history. You'd like me to stop doing that segment and just the facts, whatever. Let me know what you like out there, because your participation is more than welcome. It's also highly encouraged. I'm looking, as I always say, to grow this channel to a space where, the chat will be rolling and I'll be able to talk with people and share ideas and stuff, because that's what it's really about here on Operation Status Quo, right? We're just realizing that we're observing the world and what's going on in it, and how we can best live to be our best selves. And that's really what it's all about. It's really kind of plain and simple. So we're just observing life, ladies and gentlemen. But now it is time for, I'll get into it right now. It is time for This Day in History. You can't officially start this day in history without the horn. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a little bit of the horn to start this day in history. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Today, first of all, on this day in history, just so you know, we observe and talk about days like today, but not today, because today is its own day, and the days that we will be discussing have already passed us by. So, for example, if sometime during today some catastrophic event happens, then next year on November 3rd, it'll probably be here on this day in history, right? Okay, so let's get started. What do we have here? Polly wants justice. On this day, November 3rd, 1993, the parrot knew who the murderer was, but nobody would listen. This woman, Jane Gill, is murdered in her mansion. Gary Rasp, her business partner and beneficiary of a large life insurance policy, is later arrested. However, the murder victim's African gray parrot kept repeating, "Richard, no, no, no," which led investigators to Richard Mattoon, a friend of the victim. However, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the parrot's testimony was not allowed in court, and Rasp was eventually convicted. Now, that's pretty sad for this poor parrot. I mean, the parrot saw what happened. The parrot said, Rich, what are you doing? Don't kill poor Jane. She's a nice person. What are you doing? But no, Rich went ahead and killed her anyway, most likely because the parrot said so. But unfortunately for our other buddy here, Gary Rasp, Gary's probably calling the parrot. Listen, can we get that parrot in here? I mean, I swear to God, I didn't do it. Look, the parrot is saying, Richard, no, the parrot's saying it. The parrot said it. I didn't do it. I'm sorry, sir. There's nothing in United States law that allows a parrot to testify in court on your behalf. So, unfortunately, even though the parrot is blatantly telling us it was Richard, we are going to have to put you away for the rest of your life. It's just the law. That's America. It's equality. It's fairness. That's how the justice system works. You see how our justice system works. It started. What date was that? That was back in 1993. So. The justice system was pretty bad then, too. But anyway, let's continue on. The first animal in orbit on this day in 1957, a dog named, I guess it's Laika, Laika, Laika or Laika, I don't know, Laika, aboard the Soviet Sputnik 2, becomes the first animal in space. Again, this is all predicated on your belief that we go out into space. It really depends, whether... I saw something. I was almost going to do a show about it, and I decided not to. Joe Rogan had posted something about, there was a meme with a quote from him, and he was talking about, basically in a nutshell, it's just ridiculous that people think the earth is flat. And I was just disappointed in Joe, not because, again, that I believe, I keep harping on this because it's just such an interesting issue to me, this flat earth thing, because people get so mad about it and they just really want to argue over like, we got all the proof and the planets and the this and the that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not disagreeing. You know what I mean? I'd like to, honestly, it'd be a lot easier for me to totally believe that the earth is round. I'm not saying that it is, I've said this multiple times in case just the first time you're hearing me talk about this. I don't think it's just some flat thing floating in space. I look at it more as a, multi-dimensional type of thing. So, I mean, I don't really know, do we really know? Why are we fighting about it is all I'm saying. Why is it such a big issue now? That's a really crazy thing to me also is that the fact that the amount of traction it gets, like on social media, there's so many discussion groups about it and people vehemently arguing both sides, and it's just really kind of amazing. That's really what captivates me about it more so than whatever the truth is. It's just the fact that people are really, it's a really a polarizing issue. You thought Trump and Biden was polarizing. You thought wearing a mask was polarizing. Just get into the flat earth stuff. You'll see some polarizing stuff. All right. Anyway, so this was the first animal in space, this dog. And although she survived the launch and orbiting, she died before the mission was completed. The goal of the mission was to see if an animal could survive being launched into orbit and live in a microgravity environment. There was no means to return her safely to Earth. So it was planned that Leica, if that's her name, would eventually run out of oxygen. The Soviet government initially reported that this had been the case and that she had been euthanized shortly before her oxygen ran out on day 6 of the mission. However, in 2002, the Soviet government revealed that she had actually died just a few hours into the mission from overheating due to a malfunction of the spacecraft. Oh my God, this poor freaking dog, right? This is what I think about, like when people do this kind of stuff, like whatever, testing on animals and all. Like this poor dog, they got this picture of it. Hey, congratulations, Leica. You're going to be the first dog to go into space. Oh, space? Oh, I don't want to go into space. Oh, no, it's going to be great. We're going to put you up there. You're going to orbit around the Earth. It's going to be great. Well, how can you even do that? How can you even send a dog out into space knowing that it's going to die? Like, it's going to die. It's going to run out of oxygen. First they say how they euthanize it. You know what I mean? Nobody was up there with it. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so... what's the final thing on this? Telemetry data indicated that she had completed several orbits of the Earth before she died. Leica was a stray mongrel found on the streets of Moscow. Oh, this poor dog. This really breaks my heart, really, this story. I have to be honest. Like, this is horrible. It's like this poor stray dog. It's like, we'll take care of you. No, that's like what they do, like with runaways and how they wind up getting abducted into, like, sex trafficking and stuff. There's some young girl that's run away from home or has like some sort of drugged out family and has no parental care. No, we'll take care of you. Come stay at the Clinton Foundation house over here. Come to Oprah, and her school for girls. We'll take care of you. And next thing they're being shipped around to have sex with all kinds of millionaires and billionaires. So this poor dog, I just got it for a moment. I'm so sorry. We got to take a little round of applause for this dog. Should do a moment of silence, really, but I don't want to make it too dramatic. God bless you, Leica. I hope you're up there in dog heaven, orbiting the Earth. Hey-o. That's a sick, horrible thing to do to a dog, man. Come on, guys. Come on. Anything. Even what they do with mice and everything else, they just always sticking them with stuff and testing them with, chemicals and all kinds of shit. It's a horrible... What kind of world is this? Besides everything that's happening now, this stuff's been going on forever, right? What year was this with the dog? I'm really getting on this. 1957. That's how inhumane we've been and all these years. That's what's coming to a head. That's what we always talk about here, right? That's why we have Operation Status Quo, so we can observe and see the depravity of our mainstream culture and the way our human consciousness operates. It's sickening, and that's what we're breaking free from, and creating a world of love and goodness and compassion. In a world, imagine getting the younger kids today to see if they're going to send a dog up there like that. They wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I would fight against it. I'm sorry. This really got me. I never read that. I saw that before. It's like, anyway, first TV showing of The Wizard of Oz was on this day in 1956. The 1939 movie classic, The Wizard of Oz, becomes a TV tradition. It was the first Hollywood film shown uncut in prime time on a coast-to-coast television network. It was shown in color, although few households had color sets at the time. The film was shown in a 2-hour time slot because it was only 101 minutes minutes long. Even with commercials, it needed extra padding. The extra padding was accomplished by adding celebrity hosts. For the 1956 showing, the hosts included Brett Lahr, who played the Cowardly Lion, and 10-year-old Liza Minnelli, daughter of Judy Garland, who played Dorothy. So there you go, the first TV showing. Now you don't think anything of it, right? It comes on all the time, every year. The Wizard of Oz, it's like a big deal. The Wizard of Oz. You guys like the Wizard of Oz? That was all right. I like the Wizard of Oz. I don't know if well, actually, you really should love it now if you want to think about all the symbolism in that movie of what's going on in the world today. You know, the yellow brick road representing, gold, and, our true wealth is in metals, precious metals. Of course, the wizard himself, who you thought was this horrible, mean, oppressive character, but he was just some little dork, hiding behind the curtain over there, That's the same thing you got going on now. You think there's big, powerful people in charge, but they're not, you know what I mean? It's all pomp and circumstance, as it were. Okay, Dewey defeats Truman on this day, November 3rd, 1948. The Chicago Tribune mistakenly publishes Dewey's victory before the results of the U.S. presidential race were in. Early voting and polls predicted that Thomas Dewey would win in a landslide. However, Harry S. Truman won in an upset. So that just goes to show you there's a lot of things in history that we don't really realize of. Just speak on the fact that the mainstream media is corrupt and everything, and already knows what's going on, and the storylines are kind of planned out ahead of time. So I know they say this is a mistake, but just like 9/11, when that happened, there were already reports, I believe, like in Europe and other places, about the planes hitting the buildings before it even actually happened, right? So, and mainstream news is a lie. I mean, you see what happened in this election. Probably Dewey did win, really, right? They probably shut down the machines and then stuffed the ballots overnight. Remember when that happened back in 2020? when they decided to, oh boy, we got to do something before we lose. Let's shut down the voting and just drive truckloads of ballots in so we can make sure we get the one that we want, right? All right. Anyway, let's see here. On November 3rd, 1929, cartoon creates national anthem. A Ripley's Believe It or Not cartoon points out that America has no national anthem. The public outcry led to the adoption in 1931 of Francis Scott Key's The Star-Spangled Banner, sung to the tune of the old English drinking song, To Akrianan. I don't know that, To Akrianan. I've heard that song before. That's why I said it that way. To Akrianan in heaven. Anyway, so that's I think it was, To Akrianan in heaven. However the Star-Spangled Banner goes, that it was an old drinking song, which is interesting too. I mean, when you think about it, the fact that the national anthem of our country is actually stolen from another song that has nothing to do with our country. It was an old English drinking song. They changed the lyrics. They called it the Star-Spangled Banner, and bada beep, bada boot. There you go. And it just kind of shows America. I mean, it's perfect symbology of the fraudulence that our country is built upon, right? So, and I don't mean that negatively, people. I know everybody loves America. You're proud, patriots, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of great, people who've worked hard for years and love this country. I get it, but again, and I've spoken on this multiple times. I've done shows about this, just talking about, unfortunately, it's manipulation, and, the people doing things, the people have good hearts, good intentions, the everyday American people, but it was all kind of behind the scenes. It was all, our country's built on commercialism, selling shit, it's all, money, showing off, dumbed down Hollywood, even before current technologies and stuff. It was always that way. It was always about theatrics and shit, instead of, really getting stuff done. And let me just say this quickly as to chime in since I'm on that kind of thought process for a second. Other countries are way more prepared for shit that's going on in the world right now than we are. Countries like China, North Korea, Russia, whatever you want to say. All these countries. Americans, I'm really we're all guilty in certain regard, but we're soft, right? We're all just floating around. What's the next car we're going to get, or what's the next phone we got to buy, or whatever little knickknack they're selling. What stupid game you're playing on your phone, Candy Crush or some nonsense. All dumbed down, stuff. And people in other countries are actually working hard and, have a set of standards and, they have backbone. It's like, in China, on top of it, like with their TikTok, like from things I've seen, they don't, it's the only certain type of videos are allowed like on their TikTok. It's not like here in America where you got some girl, 15 years old twerking, trying to be like a sex model or something, anyway, yeah, that's when I see everything that's going on in the world today. If we were really attacked or something, I don't know. Thank God we have a lot of, crazy militia type people that are, stockpiling guns and everything else. So hopefully they'll all kind of rise up and help out when all these immigrants that have been coming in as under the guise of freedom, coming in to set up shop to be sleeper cells, as far as attacking us. Once that all starts to happen, then I guess the people around the country who have their stockpiles of weapons will just start, be chaos in the streets, I guess. I don't think so, really, but it could be. So it's just stuff to think about. I know that the other countries are way more prepared than we are to deal with anything because America just is always like, eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew and, their brains are seeping out the side of their heads. All right. On this day in 1992, your vote counts. Do you really believe that? Do you? Well, I'll speak on that in a second. But a Randolph, New York man wins the election for town judge. No one ran for the position, so he wrote himself in and won by one vote. Yes, his one and only vote was the only vote that was cast. So there you go. In that instance, I guess your vote does count, but if it was something important like a presidential election or anything like that, your vote will not count, ladies and gentlemen. I know we believe in that. I know we believe we go in and we vote. Hopefully that'll change too. Maybe with the technology changing, the blockchain stuff that'll be coming down the line, they'll be able to really do things the right way. But as it stands now, don't waste your time voting because it's already said and done before it happens. All right. Anyway, on this day in 1988, Geraldo Rivera hit by a chair. That's right. I remember this. The talk show host Geraldo Rivera is hit by a chair during a scuffle while taping an upcoming episode called Teen Hate Mongers. Rivera ended up with a broken nose. The scuffle broke out amongst the guests. That included white supremacists, anti-racist skinheads, black activists, and Jewish activists. So that sounds like a fun party. Let's see what kind of groups can we get together and think about if it'll be a problem or not. I say, here's an idea. Why don't we get some white supremacists? We'll get some anti-racist skinheads. We'll get some black activists and some Jewish activists. There should be no problems if we put all those people together, right? Well, of course there was a problem because Geraldo broke his schnoz. Okay, but he's doing all right now. He was on. I guess he's not on Fox anymore. He used to be on the 5. I guess I think he left. Anyway, who cares, right? I always enjoyed Geraldo a little bit back in the day. He was a character. I really liked when he went to do the Al Capone's vault thing, and it was a whole big episode of opening Al Capone's vault, and there was nothing in there. It's like yeah. I think a lot of people probably knew about that vault before you found it, Geraldo. You know what I'm saying? And if there was anything in there, it's long gone before you get your little grubby reporter hands on it. Okay, world's loudest snorer on this day in 1987, Mark Thompson Hebard of Canada is recorded snoring at 90 decibels. And that's according to the Guinness Book of World Records. So how about you? Are you a snorer out there? I mean, I'm not sure if I snore or not. I've been told that I do, but I live alone. I've been living alone so long that I really don't know. I guess I can ask my cat, if I snore, if he would tell me. I'm not really sure. Maybe I should get that parrot, the parrot from the first story. If I can get a parrot, and then the parrot can go, "Where you snore? Where you snore?" Polly don't like a snorer. Polly don't like a snorer. And I'll find out if I snore or not. Or I guess I can videotape myself, maybe with my phone. I can make a video of overnight while I'm sleeping and see how I thrash my body around or what happens. Maybe I'm having out-of-body experiences. Maybe I'm screaming. Maybe I have night terrors and I'm screaming. Who knows? I never had a neighbor knock on the door and say there's horrible screams of terror all night long coming from your house. I go, there are. If anybody knocks on my door one day, excuse me, we just hear horrible screams of terror all night long coming from your house. Is there any problem? Oh no, everything's good. I'm just taking a little bit of a nap. That's all. Oh, hold on, I missed it. Oh, I got to go all the way back around again. I hit the button too fast. I got to do it. There we go. That's me sleeping. All right, that's enough. All right, here we go. On this day, 1978, Different Strokes debuts on NBC. I used to love Different Strokes. I used to watch that. Different strokes it takes. Different strokes it takes. Different strokes to move the world. Yes, it does. Everybody's got a different so everybody's got a way to shine. No matter what you got, it's a lot. Something like that, right? The dance to tell what is yours and what is mine. And together we'll be fine, because